My Plight by George Bernard Shaw, 1856 to 1950. Bear with me as I tell of my plight. I'm just an old man that cannot sleep at night. I've counted millions of sheep in my time, even written verses that usually rhyme. Full moon nights are really the worse, for then I'm compelled to write more verse. Sleeping tablets I have taken by the score, these make things worse and cause me to snore. I've had hot baths before going to bed, these make my skin wrinkly and red. Cold showers I have tried to make me sleep, but I only end up counting more sheep. They say as one gets older, one does not need so much sleep. Well, I hear this pseudo wisdom. I just want to weep. When I was young, 8 hours sleep was just right. It saw me through a long restful night. If just for once I could sleep through the night, I would not ask you to bear with my plight. Okay, this is a poem by George Bernard Shaw. Let's see, George Bernard Shaw was an Anglo-Irish writer and a political activist. He was born in Dublin, and he grew up and was educated in Dublin. He came to England when he was 20. He then started to educate himself by reading in the British Museum, and then he became a music and literary critic for several magazines. Then he started to write plays. He had a lot of difficulty making enough money to write plays, but in my opinion he's one of the best writers of this age, or if not the best. He was a social activist. He was a committed socialist. He was part of the Fabian Society, and he supported humanitarian action. He campaigned for peace during the First World War. He was also a supporter of the movement for independence for India, and he was a great supporter of Gandhi. But anyway, I think Shaw is probably best known today for his play Pygmalion, which was turned into My Fair Lady. So what's this poem about? I think this poem is really quite simple. I get it's talking about not being able to sleep, my plight, my terrible, sad situation. And I get the feeling that he's writing this poem while suffering from insomnia. It's probably 3:45 in the morning and he can't go to sleep. And he's writing a poem about insomnia. Bear with me as I tell of my plight. I'm just an old man that cannot sleep at night. So my problem is I'm an old man and I can't sleep at night. I don't sleep well. I've counted millions of sheep in my time, even written verses that usually rhyme. So counting sheep is one way, or a traditional way of being able to go to sleep. He also writes poetry, which normally rhymes, and that's why it makes me think that this poem is written while suffering from a bout of insomnia. Full moon nights are really the worse, for then I'm compelled to write more verse. Notice the worst, it should be the worst with a T, but he's written worse, comparative, because it rhymes with verse. Worst doesn't really rhyme. So the worst time is when there is a full moon, and I think maybe it means he can see to write poetry. He doesn't need to use the lamplight. Sleeping tablets I've taken by the score. A score is 20. So he's taken lots and lots of 20s. Yeah, he's taken hundreds of sleeping tablets. These make things worse and cause me to snore. Well, if he's snoring, at least he's asleep. I've had hot baths before going to bed. These make my skin wrinkly and red. Okay, so he's had hot baths before going to bed, and it just makes him wrinkly and red, but clearly it doesn't cure his insomnia. Cold showers I have tried to make me sleep, but I only end up counting more sheep. So he's tried cold showers as well, but he still lies there, awake, counting sheep. They say as one gets older, one does not need so much sleep. When I hear this pseudo wisdom, I just want to weep. So, yeah, they say that as you get older, you don't need as much sleep. Yeah, but, well, you may not need so much sleep, but it makes him want to cry, this wisdom, because if you can't go to sleep, you don't get any sleep. When I was young, 8 hours sleep was just right. It saw me through a long, restful night. So when he was young, 8 hours sleep was just perfect. And now, unfortunately, he suffers from an insomnia. If just for once I could sleep through the night, I would not ask you to bear with my plight. So he's just desperate to sleep the whole night through. I think he has this problem. He wakes up and can't go to sleep. So bear with his plight. And I think this is a poem about suffering from insomnia and how it's a really terrible thing. So I think this poem is to all of us insomniacs out there. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. My Plight by George Bernard Shaw.